Hello, we're back again here on my YouTube channel here at Peace, Knowledge, and Wisdom. Today we got another discussion on the Black experience in America, and I want to remind all you guys to hit the like button, also hit the share button, hit that bell so you're notified of any videos that we have coming up, and again, subscribe. And that way we can get all you guys involved and we can get this flowing throughout the community, because we have a lot of discussions and a lot of views and we want all your feedback. Today's conversation will be a two-part conversation. We're going to tackle some of the things that's going on now currently with the Gayle King interview of Lisa Leslie about Kobe Bryant. And then we're going to talk about the evolution of the black quarterback. You know, right now with Mr. Mahomes quarterbacking the Kansas City Chiefs, winning the Super Bowl and the MVP, some of the dialogue that we used to have 20 and 30 years ago about the black quarterback has changed. And so we're going to have a discussion about that, an in-depth discussion, and get some views of our panel that we have here today. First of all, on our panel, first is going to be to my right, your left. It's going to be youth pastor Michael Jett back again with us. He's the youth pastor at Mount Zion Community Baptist Church, and he's a lifelong resident of Steubenville, youth advocate in the community. He's done a lot of things in the community, and he's here with us today. So, Michael, I want to welcome you today. Good seeing you again. Next to him, to my right, also, we got Brother Stefan Hill. He's a resident of Steubenville, and he's also a member of the ZTAP Foundation, which is a youth advocacy organization that does a lot of youth basketball camps and youth basketball tournaments, and they give out yearly educational scholarships to those youth who qualify for those scholarships. And he's going to weigh in today on our discussion, and he also, on the black quarterback, is going to probably have some keen things to say, because he also has a black quarterback in his house. And so it'll be interesting to hear some of his thoughts on that discussion. And to my left, last but definitely not least, is Brother Steve Wilson, longtime resident of Steubenville, Ohio. He's an athletic enthusiast, knows a lot about the sports history of Steubenville, amongst other things. He's been in a lot of different organizations in Steubenville, but presently he's now serving on the Jefferson County Prevention and Recovery Board, and which deals with mental health and addiction. And so he's prominent on that board, doing some good things in Jefferson County. And so we want to welcome Steve. Thank you, Steve, for coming. All right. So we're going to get right into it now and get you guys' opinions on some things. We're going to start with the Gayle King controversy. Those of you who know that Kobe Bryant passed away early in February this year, and it was just devastating. It happened all of a sudden, and it hurt a lot of people just because of the sudden, being how sudden it happened out of nowhere. And Kobe's got a long history as far as being an NBA great. But what was interesting is in his 3 years since retirement, he's grown in our eyesight in a different way than anybody expected, or in a faster way than people expected. In his mentorship within the NBA and the things he did off the court, everybody already knew Kobe was intellectually smart. He speaks several languages fluently. He was always a little bit reluctant to be in front of the camera while he was on the court. But since then, he's been a lot of different places. So we're going to get into the reaction that happened when Gayle King sat down with Lisa Leslie, and I'm going to set this up in a way that helps us understand the shock and some of the reaction. Basically, 3 or 4 days after this happened, maybe less than a week after this happened, Gayle King says out of her own words that she wanted to sit down with a friend of hers, which was Lisa Leslie, who she knew. And she also knew that she was good friends with Kobe Bryant. She sits down to talk with her. Lisa's definitely, because she's a good friends with Kobe, is in mourning like everyone else and still in shock. And she sits down to talk. So I'm going to say that Lisa Leslie just assumed this was going to be, we adore Kobe and how much we feel for the parent, his kids, and the wife, and also the other passengers, and just really talk about good things about Kobe. I just imagine that's what she thought. Gayle King sits down with her and she gives her some questions, but then she goes in and asks about the incident that happened in December in Denver back in 2003. And she basically asked her, how does she think that his legacy will be as it relates to that issue? And Lisa Leslie did an absolutely brilliant job of saying basically she didn't know Kobe to be that type of person, and he changed, his life was changed ever since that happened. and she didn't. When she was out with Kobe, she didn't see that type of guy, that he was anything less than a gentleman. And then Gayle King doubled down at that point. First, the question seemed kind of insensitive at the time. She doubled down and says, "Well, wait a minute, Lisa, you may not have seen that from him, but you wouldn't, as his friend, you wouldn't see that." To me, the assumption is you're telling me that you don't think he would do it, and I'm telling you that he probably did do it, but you just wouldn't see him act that way. If he was acting that way, let's not say she was saying that he did it, but that he could have acted that way and she wouldn't have seen it. After that, CBS puts on that excerpt on their Twitter feed, and everybody sees that part of the interview first. And of course, we had the reaction. We had Snoop Dogg's reaction. We all know what it was, but we'll talk about that. We had Mark Lamont Hill, who weighed in. We had Michael Eric Dyson, who weighed in. Oprah came on and basically gave a tearful plea to not come down on Gayle as hard. And so my question that I'm going to start this off with that being the background and some of the things that you guys may have heard, how do you feel in the black experience in America, how do you feel that reaction? Was it warranted? Let's start with Snoop's reaction. What do you think about Snoop's reaction, and how would you have reacted if you were Snoop or somebody close to Kobe and you were famous or celebrity? And I'm gonna start with Stefan on this one. I want you to weigh in and give us your thoughts.
Well, first and foremost, I think how Snoop acted.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely acted from an emotional standpoint. Mm-hmm. Kobe was his friend, so of course he's going to defend his friend, and he just passed. So of course he's going to say something as he did say. Mm-hmm. Now, what I would think is that she wouldn't ask something such as that. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a superstar, just in general, just to have sensitivity or empathy for anyone who passed. Like if it was someone's mother's who passed, or a child, or a relative, you wouldn't bring up the bad things that person has done, especially in that time period. I just think that that was poorly timed for her to have done something like that. But how Snoop acted, he acted from an emotional place. So most times when you do things from an emotional place, it isn't thought through. So hindsight's 20/20. So that's what warranted his apology and saying what he said. Because as a people, and being a black man and beating down a black woman isn't something that you should be doing. And I think he saw that, like I said, the 20/20 being, or the hindsight being 20/20, he saw that after the fact, because he acted in a heated, in an emotional state. You're talking about my friend, he just died, his daughter died with him, and you're bringing up rape or something that happened years ago. So not only was it insensitive, it was poorly timed.
Did you see the actual video of Snoop responding?
Yes.
Okay, when you first seen it, what was your reaction? If you can be so honest. As soon as you seen it, you agreed.
And the reason why I agreed, it'd be like if it was one of my friends, and they brought up one of my friends did something when he was 16.
Right.
And him and his daughter just died.
Right.
Now, seeing that initially, that's what I felt. I felt what he felt.
So you said, so let me just interrupt you. So your response, basically, as you're watching it, was, that's what I'm telling you. Yeah, Snoop, tell her. That's what exactly. That's type of, you had affirmation for his thing. And even as he went into the lane that he apologized for, you were still with him. You understood why he was in that lane.
I understood.
Okay, so let's hold you there. I want to get with Brother Wilson. Did you see the response that Snoop gave?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the question with you first. Is just like I asked Stefan at the end. As soon as you seen it, what was your reaction immediately?
Well, when I saw it, I had no point of reference to Gayle King's interview.
Okay.
All I saw was his backlash to
So you didn't know
Gayle
what
King.
he was talking about.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure of the question that was asked.
Right.
Other than, and I felt like he said he said what he said, and you have down here. I wouldn't have used the words that he said, but he was emotional. He was angry.
So what words, the quote, we know the quote that he used. Why
The
would
name,
you have
the
not used
negative
that?
name calling, because it just would, it actually looked bad on him, not her.
Right.
That's the way I felt.
Okay. And I like that because you have a different perspective of when you seen it, because you had no idea what he was so mad about.
Right, right.
You knew it
I
had something to do
wasn't
with
sure.
Kobe.
I had no idea of the interview, the
Okay.
subject matter of the interview.
Right, right.
And
So we're going to stop you
Okay.
there, and then we're going to let Brother Reverend Jet talk a little bit about same thing. Start from there, and then if you want to elaborate on how you felt what this response should have been, you can go into that, because I'm going to ask these guys that afterwards. But as soon as you looked at it, you're looking at this. You might have heard about it or whatever. You snap, and he comes on. What was your reaction?
I was in agreement with Snoop Dogg.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was actually. Let me put it like this: him being Snoop Dogg, I was in agreement with his approach because he's Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
I wouldn't use the same approach because I'm not Snoop Dogg.
Right.
But my sentiment would have been similar to his. I just would have used a different choice of words.
Mhm.
Because I thought what Gayle did was both insensitive, unfair, untimely, a little rotten,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I can put myself in Snoop's position, and having somebody do that to one of my dear friends, when they couldn't defend themselves, would have me furious. So in rage, I may not be able to find the words I need to convey what I need to say, but I'm going to say something,
Mhm.
and I'm going to use my platform as she did. She used her platform for what she thought would advance her career and what the message that she wanted to put out, and she wanted to refresh people's memory of a not so happy time in Kobe's life after his death. And I surely would have used my platform to defend Kobe and let her know how I feel about people that choose to do things like that. Because, like you said, what happened with Kobe, this case was from 2003. Okay, Kobe was back in the NBA Finals in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Gayle King didn't have an opinion about what happened in 2003. Back in the finals again, 2009, 2010, Finals MVP, All-Star, four-time All-Star Game MVP, current, always being interviewed, name always on SportsCenter everywhere. Gayle King had no opinion about what happened in 2003 at that time. Okay, more recently, Kobe retired, and he did this big farewell tour in every basketball city across America, and everybody was just celebrating Kobe. And Gayle King had no opinion about what happened in 2003. Okay, all the way up until the night before, when LeBron James passed Kobe Bryant in scoring, and people again, Kobe's name again came to the headline. Everybody was just talking about Kobe Bryant in a basketball aspect, and what his life was like after basketball, until he couldn't defend himself anymore. And then all of a sudden people want to attack him about 2003. Mm-hmm. So I'm just wondering if this was something that was in the forefront of your mind, something that happened in 2003, why did it take you until 2020 to start asking questions about it? And why does the timing just happen to line up with the man can't answer the questions himself, or use his intelligence? Him, a man that can speak 5 languages, that speaks intelligently, that is opinionated, that has a platform. The best source of the information about him would have been him, and you had 17 years to ask him, and you didn't.
So, you guys, if you have anything to add to what he said, you can. But answer this question. Answer Michael's question for me. He said, why, if you had all these chances to do it, why would you do it now? So, well, then I'll start with you, Brother Wilson. Why now?
And it was more in the form of a question, because in interviews what you stated, CBS put out she started with that.
Yes.
I look at the heads of CBS, who she works for.
Mm-hmm.
Production meetings come up when you have programming.
Yes.
You go over your line of questioning.
Yes.
With how you're going to ask questions, et cetera,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like they had to throw something negative at this man who had all these accolades, as Mike said, down through 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. That case was okay. It was settled. He was found innocent. Blah blah everything, and then to bring it up after his death makes me look like there was an ulterior motive by certain powers that be to like this man getting all this love. He wasn't all that.
So then did you,
You know,
so with that being your opinion, basically what you're saying is it
I'm
wasn't just
wondering,
her, it's
more of a-
CBS
it-
also.
It's yeah.
Why would
I-
CBS
Yeah, there
put that-
seems to be for and again, I didn't notice till you said basically that's all they put out was just one negative
And that was-
aspect of his
Yes,
life.
that was the teaser trailer, meaning
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
the
that-
whole interview's gonna be on.
Yeah,
Let's give you a clip.
that wasn't right.
But let me, because what we did just now, and I want to make sure I want to keep us on track. You, what you didn't answer for me though, or let me ask you this. So now, with all that being said, if you would look at Snoop Dogg's thing again, or knowing that
Yeah,
you've seen it,
yeah.
what do you think of it now? After knowing some more context, what do you think?
Mike said it real well. I ain't Snoop, but I know Snoop. We know enough about his background,
Mhm.
his how he interacts. Been talking like this for 30 years.
Okay.
And expressing how he expresses himself.
Point
His where his culture come from and everything. That was spot on Snoop.
Point taken. Stefan, you want
To
to?
piggyback off of what Jet said,
Mm-hmm.
the root cause analysis for it all,
Mhm.
to answer the whys, is capitalism.
Okay.
And
Absolutely.
capitalism is a disease.
Okay.
So when you see it, she knows better.
Mhm.
She's been raised. She understands that death,
In our community.
that type of, and especially in our community, is taken very, very, very seriously. So she knew what she was saying before she said it. She knew what she was going to say before she even sat down with Lisa Leslie, as he stated, because there's production meetings.
Before
So-
you go on for that, connect the dot of capitalism, and she knew what was her purpose for saying that. How does that connect to capitalism?
Well, she will gain fame off of that,
Okay.
because now we're sitting here
Yeah.
talking about Gayle King.
Right. Meaning, everybody would want to see that or react to that. So now CBS is going to get a lot of hits.
Yeah.
Therefore, she's the one who broke that, kind of like what she did with R. Kelly. And so what you're saying is she was fine with exploiting Kobe's friends, wife, daughters
It gains her
at
fame.
that time to gain fame. And I want to
Absolutely.
connect that because that's a great argument, and people have said that. And so do you believe that Snoop understood that she was doing that, and that made him even more upset?
I don't believe that
So you
his
think
thought
his was
process
only
was even
okay?
that
That's
deep.
fine. Then
No.
that's good. So go on then if you want to elaborate on the capitalism.
So the capitalism piece of it, if you know Oprah's history,
Mhm.
this is how Oprah got to be big.
Okay.
Oprah was Miss Teen Black USA or something in Tennessee.
Right.
So she comes from the South. And
Yes.
then she went from the South to Chicago and became an expose reporter.
Okay.
Most of her shows, before it got to her giving away cars and everything like that,
Yeah.
she would bring on Klansmen.
Okay.
She would bring
Yeah.
on people that dealt with David Duke and like hot button topics,
Yes.
and she would expose those type of things.
Yes.
Because it's like I call it, and I don't even know if it's such a thing. It's like I call it the car wreck theory. If you see a car accident on the side of the road, you're going to look at that car wreck.
Yes.
So she would always focus all of her attention, all her exposés, all her reporting on hot button topics, because if you see it, you're gonna be like, I wonder what they're talking about over there, because that's what she does. So Gayle, being her friend, she gave her the game. Listen, this is how you can get to where I'm at. Maybe not billionaire, but you can get your name where you needed to do it. So you're going to have to ask some questions you shouldn't be asking.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to be in some places you shouldn't be. You're going to have to be friends with people you probably shouldn't be friends with. But how bad do you want to be rich?
We're going to
Are you willing to sell this to get here?
We're going to piggyback. We're going to talk about that in a second because that's another one of the avenues on one of somebody else's their response to it. I want to wrap up Snoop Dogg's response here now. So we're in agreement. So let me just tell you. Let me say this. This is my reaction when I seen it. Man, Snoop, you went in. I laughed. I said, that's Snoop is something else. I was like, man, I just started laughing because of what Jet said. That's Snoop. And that's how Snoop go in. Now, when he asked the question, said, should I say it? Should I say it? He knew he shouldn't say it also, but he said it anyway. My first thought is, when everybody, now, I did think him saying, you keep it up, we gonna come at you. I took that as definitely a threat.
Yeah, it was a veiled threat.
Did anybody not take that as a threat? At least as mad as he was at the time. Not that that later on he wouldn't have cooled down. But at the time, did you think he meant that as a threat?
Yes.
Did you think that, Steph?
Yeah.
Okay, did you think that?
Yeah.
If you were her, would you have been scared? Knowing what you had done, seeing what he said, would you have been scared?
No.
Okay, would you have been scared? If you're Gayle is what I mean.
No.
Not, okay, would you have been scared?
I would have thought she would have been able to withstand that, being her stature.
Okay, well, I'd have been scared. If Snoop Dogg, from knowing his history, he was up for murder, he's in gangs out in L.A., and other black people follow him.
From what I took of it, he didn't put it like he, as an individual, was coming at her. He was going to send his...
He said we coming at you.
Like mess up her career, do things
Okay,
like this.
and let me just say this. That's good. You guys all got good perception.
Yeah,
Everybody might have
that's
that.
the way I
I'm
took
with
it.
Jet. I thought, I don't know what goes on about that, but he seemed mad enough. And this is the point. One of his boys might be totally different than him, don't got nothing to lose, could be just that upset.
Yeah, correct.
Go ahead.
And it doesn't. It was definitely a threat.
Yeah,
And she surely should have been afraid. And not because what Snoop Dogg was going to do personally,
Yes.
but all the people affiliated. Snoop Dogg was a member of the Crips,
Mm-hmm.
which is a national gang with millions of members in every city. And when he says things like, we'll come find you, I mean, there ain't nothing far-fetched about that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where you are or who else is around you. If somebody's willing to die in order to do something to you, nothing can stop them. So, like, when there's a president in our country and he says, we'll come get you, he don't mean him and his daughters.
Yeah.
He means
the other guys that follow him with guns.
the people, the soldiers.
Yeah, exactly.
The soldiers that listen to everything I say will come get you. And Snoop Dogg is saying, listen, you need to calm down because the soldiers that listen to everything I say will come get you.
So let's Steph, Steve, and myself. Let's go here. Let's presume Michael's definition is correct, and Gayle should be nervous. He talked about the soldiers. Did you guys see former NSA leader? I forget her exact position. Susan Rice's response to Snoop Dogg.
No, I heard she
Okay.
gave one, but I never
Yeah,
actually
well, her response,
saw it.
I'm paraphrasing, was simply, all that doesn't need to be happening, Snoop. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you keep threatening people, we gonna come at you. And people went ballistic and thought she was out of pocket to say that to him because they're saying this is serious because she was in the deep state and she knows people and she shouldn't have done that. I don't elaborate, Stefan, on how that could possibly been a comeback if we believe what Snoop said was a threat.
Well, I was the one that didn't.
But I want you to be with us.
So I'm gonna be with you. So what I feel is when she said that, that's much deeper than I don't know. It's just depending on how you want to look at it. How she was talking to him could affect monetarily wise, or maybe possibly freedom. How he was talking could affect life, lively, like her living, breathing. So
a little bit equal.
No, because if you die, you can't earn anything else.
So if Snoop Dogg's threat was really a threat, his threat was worse.
I would say so.
Okay, and so somebody
I
that's trying to
disagree.
defend Snoop would say that she's out of line for threatening Snoop. Is that crazy, or is that hypocritical, or at the?
No, I think she was part of Obama's administration.
Okay.
I knew, you like, just like now. You don't know you're famous, Snoop, but you ain't got what we have as been the federal government and all the agencies and everything that I have. You don't know who I know.
So what you're saying is her people are more powerful than his people.
I believe so. If you're talking about governmental agencies and police and whatever from each and every state.
It's perception, though.
Yeah.
So
but
you're saying that
I'm
she shouldn't
looking
have,
at,
or you? So let me ask you this then: are you saying she shouldn't have said it, or shouldn't have threatened him? It's her friend.
No. I think she was coming back at. She was defending Gayle, which she has every right.
Okay.
She might know again. Her relationship with Gayle was no different than Snoop's with
Okay.
Kobe's.
Now, Jet, I want you to start
all-
this off. This is
that's
how
all
this is
I'm
how I
saying.
feel about it. I want you to answer this. My thing is to me, if I wanted to create that, he said about capitalism, you get a little deeper into the story. This is my thing is, and we're going to get into this here shortly. To me, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, the Toms, the bourgeoisie, whatever you want to call us up here, to the thugs and stuff. Let's see who's tougher. Like at some point, that's basically what that is. She's in an elite status, and she's gotten her way wherever she worked her way up to the ranks to have some people. In other words, whether it's ex-military, whether it's ex-CIA, whether it's ex or present, people that we covert people, whether it's Green Berets that she's had interactions with, and black.
Yeah, well, you're looking at a physical confrontation. I'm not.
I'm
not
gonna
talking
start
about
there.
that.
The next thing is who she can call to ruin his career. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay,
talking about.
and that's fine too. But my point is, I don't know if that stops who Jet was talking about coming after him. That might not be exactly Snoop. Meaning, if it was a physical threat, because the point is, once Snoop is ruined, he probably still wants somebody to go get her now because he's ruined.
Yeah.
So what she's saying is, no, we dealing with the same way you deal. This is my interpretation, and if that's the case, to me, this is why this is out of pocket altogether. That he went out of pocket. So, Jet, what I just put into there
tell
and
me-
everything we talked, go ahead.
Well, the first thing I need to do in order for me to
Figure out what
really
she said.
answer this, who is she?
Susan Rice was his national security advisor, I believe. She was the
She
head
was
of
in his main administration. She was
Yes.
No.
I'm gonna get
She
the
was-
producer.
she's chief
Can
of
you look
staff.
up
Who is she
Susan?
now?
She's just an ex.
just the ex.
Okay.
Can you look up Susan Rice for us
I don't
and
know
let
what
us
she's
know
doing
exactly
now. I
what her
think she's a
position was?
professor or something, I believe.
But she was basically she got intelligence from the FBI, the CIA, the Homeland Security, and all that, and then she advised the president on security issues.
International and
So she doesn't have a job with the government.
Not right now.
Not
no.
right now.
So that kind of changes where my mind was going.
Okay,
because
good deal.
I don't think she would, if she was the national security advisor today.
Yes.
I don't think that would her response would be out of line at all.
Okay.
Because as the national security advisor,
Right.
you
want to keep peace.
what you're somebody can't just go on YouTube and threaten the life of a public figure and me say nothing if I'm a national security advisor.
Okay.
I have to let you know.
Yes.
Well, I understand that you're upset, but if this happens, we're gonna come get you. You've already said that you're the mastermind behind this assassination.
Right.
So we're gonna come get you.
Hold on one second. Can you give us her position? Or what her position was?
Susan Elizabeth Rice is an American public official who served as the 24th U.S. National Security Advisor from 2013 to 2017. Rice was on the staff of the National Security Council and was the Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs during President Bill Clinton's second term.
Okay. Now, while he's talking, if you could for us, can you look up her tweet that she sent to Snoop Dogg? So now, knowing that she's not there, does that change what you feel?
Well, now it's just another person with some clout taking side.
So you think it's basically fair on fair?
I'm kind of looking at her now like what you got to do, but
Well, the reason I said that's why I said I'm going to use some phrases that maybe you guys may not think it's right. We're talking about language, but I'm just trying to get to the core. Uppity Negroes. In other words, you got Oprah, you got Gayle, you got Susan Rice, you got Obama, you got they're trying to say that Eric Michael Dyson is now over there now. He's not with Cornell and Tavis anymore. He's moved over there. You got Sharpton, who they say moved over there, and those are just name figures.
So like,
but they got money, they got prestige, and they're considered being the uppity side. Then you got Snoop, who's supposed to be in the streets, with what you said. He had gang affiliation and that Lil Boosie, the way he was talking. We're talking about, when I say uppity Negroes on this side, some people may say thugs, on this side.
Yeah, that's both
and
two
so
negative connotations.
Exactly, and these
Either
are both
way.
negative.
Either way.
And they're both negative things that they said, which is why you relate to it to be negative. Stephon decided that he was on the side and said he didn't think she was in any danger. He just thought. I think you said that you thought maybe he was going to come at her on Twitter sphere and some of his people. Is that what you?
I mean, I'm just thinking that listen, going back to the capitalism thing, Snoop is not going to endanger his money because of something such as that.
So hence apology.
Like what Jet said, listen, he got people that follow him, and there are some people who aren't rap type that would possibly do something, but there are consequences
Just like
to that,
our president,
and that's why
dog whistle.
he apologized, because he knows next thing that can happen, they ban Snoop here, they ban Snoop at Staples Center, they ban Snoop music here. Things can happen to hurt his money, and he's lived through the streets.
That's why he walked it back.
Right,
That's why he walked it back.
like
he's
he's
once he got
lived-
out of the moment, he's like, well,
What I read.
what do I stand to gain? What do I stand to lose? What should I do?
His mother, now I read, now I don't know if it's accurate, his mother called him on it and made him, his mother real religious and thinking it was a negative thing for him
To be doing.
talk to another black woman
I
like
have an
that.
opinion about that too.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's just
that
an
might be
opinion.
the narrative.
have
I
no
don't
idea.
know.
But
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like, from what I see when Snoop Dogg does interviews and everything, he and just his overall persona is in your face. Yeah, I'm high.
Yeah,
I just don't think he takes too much advice from his mama.
Well,
Now-
maybe on this particular,
maybe she-
particular thing. That's
Well,
what-
I
just think that while Snoop Dogg was walking it back,
Right.
that him saying that he got a call from his mother will immediately, you felt that connection.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
because you can see that, like, if your mama
Yeah,
called
because
you know what I mean?
He just
So
put
he
out that
knows,
gospel album for his mother.
he
Yes.
know that could be, he know that's relatable. How can I draw him in? If I
Well,
say
and-
my mom, like,
and this is what I
all
wanna-
of a sudden, I just had a revelation. People might not like feel me, but if I say I'm backing down from my mama, like not now, I get the mamas back.
Yeah.
From me
Well,
calling.
let me-
all the
let me-
black women,
Yeah,
they throws them all
yeah.
back in.
Let's talk. Do you have that tweet yet? You haven't found it?
Yes, I found it.
Go ahead and read it. What did Susan Rice
Susan
say?
Rice tweeted on February 7th, "This is despicable. Gayle King is one of the most principled, fair, and tough journalists alive. Snoop, back the bleep bleep off. You come for Gayle King, you come against an army. You will lose, and it won't be pretty."
Okay. And Snoop said, you keep it up, we coming after you. So I don't know who his we is, but I assumed his we were bad people because he's saying what they gonna do.
And just to piggyback off of that, all of a sudden, and I don't know if anyone has seen this yet, all of a sudden he had a son that he used to coach in football.
Yeah.
He grew up, I think he went to USC or UCLA. Now he said this to Gayle King. Now pictures have surfaced with the son is a cross-dresser.
Okay. So you're relating this is the type of power that Gayle King's got.
These are
behind
the
her.
type of
Media
things that
power is
crush
strong.
certain things.
Yes.
Now this goes against his manhood. Who are you to threaten? And your son is out here dressing like Prince used to do back in the day.
And so this is my point. I want to wrap this segment up a little bit here. We all feel that Gayle King was out of pocket to say exactly what she said, what Snoop said. Bad timing. What are you doing? Was it that bad that all this? Was it that bad that we have to take sides? Because that's what ended up happening. You got people talking about their armies and this army. Because other people segued in, and you have some other things going on. Because when Snoop brought back the apology, Dr. Boyce Watkins, when he came out and heard Snoop, he kind of said what you said about what Snoop said. Meaning, you understand, coming from Snoop, that's how it is. But as soon as he apologized, Dr. Boyce got on there and started saying he did that because of his money. He wanted to keep his money. Like, my point is as black people, we always have to come at someone for what they do in a way that kind of pushes them off. Like, I want us to understand the similarities between these things. And we're going to come back on the second part and close this part out and get into the evolution of the black quarterback. But I wrote some things down here that I want us to understand. Now all of a sudden Snoop worried about his money. You talk about capitalism. Basically, it's capitalism, right? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, and I've been saying this, and we've had this conversation before. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and I'm not talking from people right next to him. I'm talking about from those of us on the periphery. What was the album that Jay-Z came out with? Was it 4444 or something? Or something like that? Mm-hmm. And all I heard in the commentary from black people was about how black it was, about how he was kicking some science about business, and the thing that happened, OJ, he had some lyrics about OJ in there, what they did to OJ. Basically talking about black people got to come up, we got to do this, we got to do that. And I'm just using this as a metaphor, but he was one of the blackest men in America. Then he gets a partnership with the NFL, and now he's a Tom. I don't know, from black people.
A certain segment, yeah.
I just don't understand how we go from way over there to way over here. When before that, 6, 7, 5 years ago, the NFL was wrong because ain't nobody black and no power. They don't care about, And then all of a sudden, some guy named Kaepernick, and I think they said he has a white mother who was raised by his white mom or whatever. So I don't know if he came from the hood. I heard he didn't, but I don't know.
No, he was
so I don't know.
in Montana somewhere.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah,
now I think no matter what color you are, no matter where you at, you're gonna feel.
He identifies as black.
You're gonna feel some pain of being black. The black experience in America. But what I don't know is you out of your own. You just decide on your own to kneel. And now every black person that's a ball player in the NFL got to kneel too. And if they don't, they're not black enough. Because Jay-Z said whatever he said about Colin, he agreed with Colin. Yeah. And he told some other people, I wouldn't perform at the thing because, they're doing that to Colin. So henceforward, 2 years later, Colin's trying to get back in. He settles with the NFL. He goes and talks with them and gets some money from them for what they did to him. And he settles and gets some money for it. Eric Reed, who was his dog, gets back in the NFL. These no good people who did all this stuff, they start negotiating with him, get a contract playing for the NFL. Jay-Z signs with the NFL, and now he said, I'm going to start getting some black acts and some diversity in the black, community. Malcolm Jenkins decides to go in and negotiate with the NFL and gets a whole lot of money for the black community and justice things for the youth and the situations to uplift. And then Eric Reed says he's a Tom. What side are we supposed to be on, gentlemen, in the black community? How could those people be on different sides of whatever issue this is? So we're going to come back, and that's the question I want to ask. I want you guys to say what side you're on in those, and I'm going to blame some other issues. I want you guys to say what side you're on and why you're on that side when we come back. We'll be right back with the second part of this fascinating interview in a couple minutes. Thank you.